Good time of day, guys. My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.8 Matsuribayashi. Last episode, we completed, I believe it was only 4 more fragments. Yeah, we did an accident at the Shirakawa Park, distrusted a mother of a queen, the third sacrifice, and mysterious death of the Frude couple. So, yeah, basically, what happened last episode? Rika's mom and dad died. That's it. But we've passed the halfway point with these fragments. We've done 26. We have 24 more to go. So if I keep on doing 4 per episode, we'll be done in 6 episodes. But I hope to not only do 4 per episode. Because, you know, I can fit more in, you know? Or at least we'll see if I can. Anyways, though, I watched the most recent episode of Soutsu, so now I'm technically caught up. It's time to discuss this shit. So we're gonna go into spoiler time through episode 11 of Soutsu. If you don't want spoilers, then mute. Let's go. Alrighty. To sum up my thoughts on episode 11 in one word, it would be So there's that. To sum it up in more words, I'll start by saying that I think the answers given to us in Tatari Akashi are better than any of the answers that we got in Wata Akashi and Oni Akashi. Not necessarily because they were amazing, but even though they weren't amazing, we got to see L5 Oishi, which was really fucking cool. But we also didn't get to see, at least so far, an accelerated version of Hinamizawa syndrome or like a pseudo L6 like I thought we would have based on the behavior of Oishi versus like Akane and Akasaka and all the others in Nekodamashi that Satoko made go haywire. But, oh well. I guess the reason why Tatari Akashi was as satisfying as it was compared to the other two was because Tatari Damashi was the most up for interpretation arc of them all. There were a lot of different interpretations, so yeah. It's also because it's very believable too, I feel. I feel like it's just the best written of the Soutsu arcs so far. So, yeah, for instance, Satoko's manipulation to make Oishi target Rika, that felt believable. It didn't feel forced in, it was just Satoko playing it up, acting, and then being like, oh yeah, Keiichi said that Rika told him to do this. And then he's just like, yes, I'm gonna go kill them now. Thank you, little girl. And then he leaves and goes to kill fucking everyone. But, yeah. Regardless, I don't think we're gonna get specific answers for Nekodamashi. Or, I should say, I hope that we don't, because I don't feel like we need them. The reason... But I guess I'm just slightly disappointed that, at least not as of yet, do we have like an accelerated Hinamizawa syndrome or L6. So instead, the reason why those 4 all acted so similarly, with all like the parasites and shit like that, is because of Satoko's manipulation. Which is sad, but oh well. As for Satoko fabricating the story of Keiichi and Teppei's fight, I think that's a meh answer overall, but it was kind of cool, but at the same time, I feel like they could have made it more important than just Satoko manipulating Oishi. I have heard some people compare that instance to, like, an Umineko type answer, where it's like, hey, this is the question arc, here's a straight up fucking lie, okay? This did not happen. What happened is similar, yes, but it did not happen. Then, well, Umineko doesn't have answer arcs, but regardless, the actual answer is like, to spoil one thing from Umineko, for instance, the second Twilight of Chapter 2, where, unless my memory is fading, Canon and Jessica died in that one. And the magic answer given to us in the question arc was, hey, these are the stakes of purgatory, these are the goats. They're going to kill Canon and Jessica, and then they do. What actually happens is that Scanintris, the culprit Yasu, fucking kills Jessica, and then jumps out the window pretending that Cannon died. Or, I guess, kills Cannon as her personality, and then moves on. Then, of course, there's the Godatrist theory, which I fucking love. But, whatever, that's not real. It's just funny. But, yeah, it's kind of cool if that's the intention, but I kind of feel like it's not. Because it's not magical what happened, that fight between Teppei and Keiichi. Is it still the same general concept? Yeah. It's a lie, it didn't actually happen, the real answer is something else. But it's still a cool parallel, if nothing else. If it's unintentional, it's a cool parallel. If it is intentional, then oh shit. But, yeah. I feel like they could have made it a lot more interesting, though, assuming that the Umineko comparison isn't intentional. I feel like it would have been really fucking cool if it was actually that Oishi came in and started beating Keiichi, and then Keiichi started fighting back, but that wouldn't make sense with how Oishi gets out unscathed, and Satsuko just hallucinates Teppei over Oishi because of her own Hinamizawa syndrome, but oh well. So then, we're getting into the next arc, next episode. Finally, not an answers arc. So I'm excited for it. I am very excited for it because I have no fucking clue how it's going to continue. And it's called Kagurashi, which is the least Higurashi arc name sounding Higurashi arc name out of fucking all of them. It just doesn't sound like the name of a Higurashi arc, but I'm sure I'll get used to it anyways. One thing I do really want to fucking say, though, I don't think they're gonna wrap up everything in these 4 episodes. It feels like it would be really fucking hard to. So, I don't know if that means we're gonna get another season, or if Sotsu's actually gonna be like 24 episodes or something like that, and 15 is just a lie. Or if like the loose ends are gonna carry over into like an Umineko Go, or another season that pulls Umineko more into things. But I really find it hard to believe that, assuming that these 3 things are gonna happen, that we're going to have the conflict between Satsuko and Rika resolved, we're going to have Burn Castle and Lambda Delta be created, and we're going to have Satsuko's character redemption. I don't think we're going to get all 3 of those things in 4 episodes. Not to mention any of the mysteries surrounding Aowa and Hanyu's involvement. And there's that 3rd Looper theory also. I didn't write this in my notes, but I thought about the 3rd Looper theory a little bit. I think if it's any of them, it's probably Rena or Mion. It's Rena or Mion, easily. Like, Keiichi would be a cool one, but I don't think it's Keiichi, and I don't think Shion's connected enough. I think Shion's still gonna play a role in the story as far as, like, being the catalyst to redeem Satsuko, and Keiichi might play a part too, but if there's a 3rd Looper, it's Rena or Mion. My reasoning for that is, Mion just makes some offhand comments sometimes and does some weird shit. Like, the first episode of Neko Damashi, where she literally checks the stall where she fucking killed her in the previous arc. And in that last episode, I don't remember if she says this also in Tatari Damashi, but in that last episode, she also said, like, Satsuko, you sly devil, when she started guiding Keiichi away. But, yeah. Then there's also, like, the order of when Mion dies. If she is also a looper, it seems to not matter when she dies. If Rena's a looper, though, then the ending of Tatari Damashi is thrown into question, I guess. I don't fucking know. I feel like it'd have to be one or the other. I don't think it's Keiichi or Shion, though. Actually, you know, I'll just say, if it's one of them, it's most likely Mion. It could be Rena. I don't think it's Keiichi or Shion. That's what I would say. But, yeah. If there's a 3rd looper, especially, we're not gonna wrap up everything in 4 episodes. That's not gonna fucking happen. I already find it hard to believe that we're gonna wrap up everything in these 4 episodes anyways, but we'll see what happens. One last thing that I want to say, though, is that I feel insanely bad for Rena in this arc. Because, like, I already felt bad for her before. So I thought she had it bad enough, where in this arc, Oishi comes up, kills Shion, kills Mion, kills Rika, presumably kills Satoko, and then he gets arrested and or killed in some other way. Maybe he scratches his neck out and dies. I thought she had it bad enough witnessing all that as she gets swept away so that she doesn't fully even know what happens. But no, she's just there. She fights against the crowd, watches this all happen. Oishi shoots Shion, Oishi shoots Mion, beats Rika to death. Satoko walks up like she owns the fucking place. Fucking quick draws Oishi, shoots Rika's corpse, and then kills herself. Like, it's the shit like this that made me think Satoko's way more morally reprehensible than Takano. Because, like, sure, Satoko's not thinking about the Rena in this world, since she can just make a better world where Rena doesn't have to witness her friends dying and being cryptic as shit. But that Rena still lives on in this world line with the memories of that night. And then Keiichi's in the hospital for, what, 6 months? Like, it isn't until fucking fall that he's let out and Rena's able to talk to him again. So she's just living with this for, like, 4 to 6 months. It's just shit like that that makes me think Satoko is just morally worse. What she does is worse than Takano. Because Takano just kills everyone and it's done and over with. That's not to say that what Satoko specifically does is more damaging than what Takano does, because, you know, Takano kills the whole fucking village, and I guess I would say at this point, yes, Takano's more evil, but Satoko, what she does has worse effects on the people around her, because, you know, they're actually alive. So, what's even worse is that it's possible that Rena will fucking remember this in a later arc, which could play into Satoko's redemption. So, yeah, like I've said before, though, I really do hope that we get more on what happens after Satoko's manipulation in each world. So we get, like, clear-cut answers as to, like, what happens in Onidamashi after everything, what happens in Watadamashi and Tataridamashi and all the Nekodamashi ones. So I hope it gives a bigger role to the other 4 in the overall story by having them remember what Satoko's done to them and others, and have that play into whether or not she gets redeemed, or if she goes on unredeemed or irredeemed, whatever that word would be. And then maybe that creates Lambda Delta? I don't fucking know. But regardless, I'm worried but excited for Kagurashi. That's all I gotta say. Welcome back! It's time to connect more fragments. So, we should be able to do this one. A red capsule. I'm just gonna write down the 27 ahead of time and clicky. Yes. A red capsule. The strange medicine that I can hardly remember was a capsule. Or maybe it was an oval tablet. It was so red, it must have been a capsule. I can't imagine a tablet in that color. It must have been a capsule. I think it was a little bigger than a normal one. I think. We're in Rena's perspective, obviously. I think. I can't remember. At least I believe we are. Although I can hardly remember, if I see that medicine again, it'll refresh my memory. That medicine strips away humanity. It takes away a human soul, memory, emotion, and it numbs the human body. There are no thoughts, no interests, no will to stay awake or asleep. There's no sense of time. Sometimes a second can feel like an eternity, and other times I can almost see the hour hand move. Either way, there's no emotion involved. I can't feel any emotion. The medicine only lets me stay in bed and look up at the ceiling. Only the people who have taken it can understand this misery. What's more scary is that, while I'm on the medication, I don't realize how scary it is. I'm given the medication daily, and I keep losing all my senses. So, when the medicine wore off by accident, I realized I should never take it again. That's right. This isn't medicine that will heal me. It's just going to kill me slowly. If I continued to take this medicine, I probably wouldn't be able to tell if I was dead or alive, and I would end up losing myself forever. I'll keep looking up at the ceiling, without any emotions, and keep watching the clock tick forever. If I take the medicine again, I'll lose all the senses I finally regained. I may never be able to bring myself back again. Since the day I realized that, I've been pretending to take the medicine, but throwing it away instead. Yeah, the clearly sane person at the mental ward. If your doctor prescribes medication, you have to finish taking it, even if your symptoms are gone. I can hear my mother's voice. Anytime I went to the doctor's office when I was a child, my mother said that to me. I usually got well before I finished all the medicine, so I didn't finish taking the rest. That's why my mother said that. But this is a different type of medicine. I don't even remember how old I was when my mother said that. But with this strange capsule in front of me, I have to try and get rid of my mother's voice from inside of my head. I pressed down on my head with my elbows until it hurt, trying to get rid of what my mother kept telling me. Right. As my head clears, I start to remember the ugly side of my mother. My mother betrayed her family. She betrayed me and my father, who waited for her at home with dinner on the table. She told us she was busy with work, but she was having an affair. That was bad enough, but she asked my father for a divorce after he took such good care of her for so many years. But there's something else I can't forgive her for. She invited only me to meet with her new family. Not my father, just me. My father and I are family. Family means being together. Yet my mother tried to destroy the bond between my father and me. Not only had she destroyed her bond with him, she tried to destroy my bond with him too. When I remember, it makes me feel angry and hateful, and I can't forgive her. The back of my eyes started to hurt, and I could feel the hatred on my face. That overflowing animosity is aimed not only at my mother, but also the man she had an affair with. The man she had an affair with. Uncle Akihito. I didn't like him teasing me, but he gave me an allowance and tried to have fun with me. I liked him very much, but his niceness was all calculated. He wanted to destroy the family bonds between my mother, my father, and me. That's why I shouldn't have said I liked him very much. That's right. I'm starting to remember and understand. I now know my true enemy. It was his fault that my mother started to have an affair, because my mother was a very good mother. He was the one who made her a bad one, so he's the one who deserves the blame. When was the first time I met him? I think it was the time when my mother and I went out and had lunch at a restaurant. She introduced him as one of her colleagues from work. At that time, if I think about that first meeting, I think I felt something wasn't right with the way my mother acted around him. That's right, I did. I did think something was wrong. It didn't feel right. I wish I'd trusted my instincts then. I was a fool to think he was a nice person just because he gave me a strawberry from his piece of cake. It was not my father's fault, because I bet he never met Uncle Akihito. But I have. I've met him many times, and there were a lot of chances to realize he was my enemy. If I had a strong enough will to protect my happiness, I could have noticed that. I can't forget how my father looked on that day. My father, who was so nice and gentle, grabbed his knees so tightly and cried so hard. He asked me if I knew Uncle Akihito. I answered yes. Then he slapped me in the face. When he slapped me, I finally realized how stupid I was for being taken in by him. That's right, it was my fault. I destroyed the happiness I had hoped to last forever with my own hands. If I hadn't been that stupid, my father wouldn't have had to cry like that, and my mother would have stayed good. If I wasn't that stupid, it was my fault. I can't forgive my mother and Uncle Akihito. Even when I hate him this much, I still call him Uncle, and I can't forgive myself for that. It was my fault. Everything was my fault. I was too stupid and foolish. And that's why this happened. I hate her. I'm sad. I'm frustrated. I can't stop being angry. If my mother ever came back to this house, I would rip her apart with my hands. But she never came back. My anger turned towards everything that my mother left in the house. I destroyed every relic my mother left behind, one after another. I threw and smashed everything, but that still didn't calm me down. Even after I turned the whole house upside down, I still couldn't calm my anger. Where does my anger gather? Starts from inside of me, goes through my arms, to my fingertips, and spurts from my nails. Where else can it go? So my nails aim at my own body. My body is the filthiest and most disgusting thing of all. I am the one to be blamed. No. I'm not to blame. My mother's most at fault. My mother's the most corrupt. My body and soul feel filthy. I wanted to stain myself black and slice the remaining flesh into pieces. And one day I finally realized. There are tons of maggots in my blood. I am rotten. I am rotten from the inside. Come on, rot more! But it is undescribably itchy. It is itchy, 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 itchy. I stabbed my thigh with a razor blade in the bathroom. And a maggot that looked like Motorcycle Gunman came out of it. The blood flowed out. Reddish-black maggots spilled out. I forced myself to open my blood vessels with my thumbs. Ugh. The maggots spilled out. Squirm, 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 squirm. I think I said squirm enough. So many maggots spilled out from my left thigh. There are probably just as many in my right thigh. Maybe my calves, too. My arms, abdomen, chest. No. How many maggots are there in the blood vessels in my neck? Strangely, although I've become rather insane, there's still a part of me that is calm. If I keep ripping myself apart like this, I'll end up dead. But everything is my fault, and I'm the one to be blamed. Even if I blame my mother, the only way I can disgrace her is with my own body. Oh, I get it now. That's the best means for quelling my anger. I feel like I'm thinking incredibly rationally now. In order to forgive myself, I need someone else to blame. It has to be someone else's fault. But no such person exists. No matter how much I think about it or how I twist the logic, my own body is my only outlet to vent this anger. So long as there's no one else to blame, I'll be forced to rip open every blood vessel in my body. Just like no matter how much I scratch, it still itches. No matter how much I rip apart my own body, it's not enough. The blood is all over the bathroom, and I'm sure it makes for quite the gruesome scene. Although I'm trying to stay calm, I can't ignore the sharp pain that runs through my body. Maybe because I've lost so much blood, or maybe because I'm naked in the bathroom, I feel freezing cold. My whole body is throbbing and my heart is beating so fast. I'm cold and hot at the same time, and I'm also sad, angry, and in pain. I want to find something that lets me forgive myself. And then God appeared. Then, it came. It came in a heavenly light. It was mysterious and unreal, like something out of this world. It apologized. It kept apologizing. Why is it apologizing? You apologize when you're at fault. So this thing I just met for the first time was admitting to wronging me. That means I'm not at fault. It's at fault, not me. I dropped the razor blade. It fell into the puddle of blood. The pain is taking over my body. The pain of ripping apart my own body is taking over me. I've been telling myself this pain is the punishment for what I've done. But I'm not at fault. It is. So I don't need to accept this pain as a punishment. So I don't need to defile my body anymore. She continued apologizing to me over and over as I stood there covered in fresh blood. She apologized every time I wanted to blame myself, constantly whispering that it wasn't my fault. Oyashiro-sama exists. She is always following me. Pit-pat, pit-pat. And every time I can't endure the guilt, she apologizes and tells me I am not at fault. Everything is caused by the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Things started to go wrong when I broke the rule that I wasn't supposed to leave Hinamizawa. I finally remember. When I moved from Hinamizawa, one of my neighbors gave me a charm. She said that if I left Hinamizawa, I would be cursed, so I had to take the charm. That's right, she gave me a charm. It had some complicated writing on it, but I haven't seen it since I moved here. I may have lost it. There's nothing I can do about that. If Hinamizawa residents leave Hinamizawa, they'll be cursed. My mother and I, even Uncle Akihito too, may have gone insane because of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Nobody was at fault from the beginning, because everything is caused by the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Nobody is at fault. Nobody. I am finally able to forgive everything. The anger that I couldn't get rid of even after I destroyed everything, including my body and soul, is finally gone. Father, now I know. The curse of Oyashiro-sama is what caused my mother to leave, and for you to be so sad. You remember Oyashiro-sama, don't you? The guardian deity of Hinamizawa. That's right. People of Hinamizawa aren't supposed to go to the outside world. That's why Mother went insane. It's all because of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. If we had stayed in Hinamizawa, we would have been happy. Oyashiro-sama came to me and told me that. Come to think of it, Oyashiro-sama has been trying to tell me that for a long time. After Mother left, I didn't know why she left or how to express my anger. Oyashiro-sama has kept following me ever since then to let me know that. She followed me everywhere, the sound of her footsteps echoing behind me. But I pretended I didn't notice her. It was so stupid. I didn't hear her voice until I slashed my body all over. If only I had listened to Oyashiro-sama's voice. I bet she started warning me once Uncle Akihito came into my life. If the whole family had gone back to Hinamizawa, my mother wouldn't have had an affair. We would have been happy there. I bet Oyashiro-sama has been trying to tell me that. That's right. She must have been trying to warn me ever since we left Hinamizawa. She was always with me. She followed me everywhere. I was stupid, trying to pretend I didn't notice. Everything was because of that stupidity. If I had noticed Oyashiro-sama's voice, my family wouldn't have suffered from the curse. It's all my fault! Oyashiro-sama's apologizing. She keeps apologizing, which means this is all her fault. So this isn't my fault, is it? Because this is the curse of Oyashiro-sama, right? She's apologizing, saying, I'm sorry. Oyashiro-sama is apologizing repeatedly. So I'm sorry too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't hear your voice. I'm sorry. We are from Hinamizawa, so we have to keep hearing your voice. Oyashiro-sama definitely exists. Exists. Can't you hear, Father? Don't you see? Oyashiro-sama's right there apologizing, saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry too. Come on, Father. Let's apologize too. Mother, you don't have to apologize. You should die because of the curse. I hate you, Mother. I hate you. I hate myself for being your daughter. These maggots are your fault. They make me itch everywhere. I'm sorry. No, I don't want that medicine. My mother got it to kill me. So I don't want it. I won't take it. I told you I won't take it. Stop. This is a curse. So you can't fix it with medicine. It won't get rid of the maggots because this is a curse. No, I don't want a shot either. Stop. Stop! It hurts. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts! Okay. Everything is falling into a gray world. The voices of my father and the doctor sound so far away. Even what just happened seems like it happened a long time ago. Again, I'm given the capsule, and even my memory from a minute ago is gone. Okay. Well, that was insightful. It's not done. This is a fucking long one. I'm already half an hour into the fucking episode. I talked about Sotsu for maybe like 18 minutes. I'm back in my bed, staring at the ceiling. And what I can see, the only thing that interests me is the hands on the clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. I follow the minute hand as it goes around quickly, and the hour hand as it goes around slowly. I see other things too, but they keep going through the same motions, just like the hands on the clock. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's my fault, I'm sorry. Oyashiro-sama keeps apologizing. Tick-tock, tick-tock. I'm sorry, tick-tock, tick-tock. I'm sorry. Repeating over and over, constantly, and nothing else. The chorus of Higurashi coming in through the window during the night seems louder than usual. Alright, I wonder what a red capsule was. Maybe a red capsule was, a red capsule. Alright, so that was number 27. Which means we're almost done with the first page. We just have to wait for, the ant to die. Whatever fragment that's gonna happen in. Okay. Let's see if that one could have been anything else. So we finally got Rena. No bat. Koizumi's still alive. We should be able to do that one. But I'll save it for now. Because I feel like it'd make more sense to just follow along. Follow along the Rena stuff. Maybe we have Rena's forgiveness? Because, you know, Oyashiro-sama or Hanyu was just constantly going, I'm sorry. But that would also be repetitive apologies, which we got a fucking million years ago. They haven't moved. Yeah, so next should be number 28, Rena Ryugu. Yep. Do. Been a while since I've done this voice.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon. Oh, who are you?
Sorry. We just moved in next door.
So this is their move, okay. We'll just write that down immediately. Ryugu's move. I can't spell. There we go.
We're here to introduce ourselves. Pleased to meet you.
Oh my. Someone as young as you moved here? I see. Welcome. Mom! Our new neighbor is here to say hello.
Don't yell like that! Thank you for taking time to come over.
They're the Ryugu family. They just moved into the empty house next door.
Ah! You're Rena-chan, aren't you? My, how you've grown. Yes, I'm Rena. Thank you for remembering.
Mom, do you know her?
Of course I do. You were living in Okinomiya then, so you probably don't remember. But they used to live next door. So you came back, huh? This village is better than the big city, is it? I don't remember much because I was so small when we lived here. But I feel this is where I belong.
Then you'll fit right in. If there's anything we can do for you, let us know. There's no need to hesitate. Being unreserved is the rule here, after all.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. I thought I'd remember things if I walked around the village, but I still don't remember much. I do recall, however, the vivid breeze as well as the brilliant greenery. I don't remember the village, but I remember that this is my hometown. Red scars still remain on my body. They're hardly visible, and I can't even feel them. I'm sure they'll disappear soon. Now that I'm back in Hinamizawa, sometimes I wonder who I was back in Ibaraki. In fact, I think I wasn't myself from the moment I left. And now by coming back here, I finally regained my true self. I can hardly remember what I was like back in Ibaraki. Well, that's probably because of the red medicine. The medicine erased all of my painful memories. Maybe that was for the best. I just wanted to be forgiven back then. I couldn't forgive my mother. I couldn't forgive Uncle Akihito. And more than anybody, I couldn't forgive myself. I wanted someone to acknowledge that I wasn't at fault. I wanted to be forgiven. So Oyashiro-sama apologized. She told me I wasn't at fault, because it was the curse of Oyashiro-sama. That's how I was able to forgive myself. I didn't have to die by tearing my blood vessels out of my body. I think people have to die because they become corrupted. That's why people try their hardest not to dirty themselves all their lives. But I'm still living, despite how dirty I am. I've been allowed to live. Is there still some filth left on me? Or am I all clean? I don't know. The only thing I know is that the me who lived in Ibaraki and the me who's here right now are two different people. I no longer feel the need to take responsibility by ripping myself apart because of the filth. Okay, back home. After arranging some furniture and unpacking some boxes, we finally had dinner. Although I hardly remember Hinamizawa, my father remembers things very clearly. Although it was around when we lived here before, the Watanagashi festival has grown huge these days. It's held at the end of June.
Watanagashi?
I've never seen it myself, so I don't know too much about it. But supposedly, people let cotton absorb the filth on their bodies and drift it down the stream. Absorb the filth.
You can wash your filth down the stream, huh?
Of course. Humans are sinners. As we live every day, filth piles up on our bodies, supposedly. And once a year, we get rid of the filth by letting the cotton absorb it. People become burdened with filth and sin by doing something bad. Court sentences can settle your crimes legally, but that doesn't mean the burden of sin, of the filth, will just go away. In other words, human hands can't erase human filth in this human world. The filth is something humans can't get rid of, and that's why we need a god from a different world to do that. That's what I thought. But I'm surprised to learn about Watanagashi. Human hands erasing human filth in the human world. Letting the cotton absorb the filth and drifting it down the stream. That means it's okay to live in this world. I tried to commit suicide because I couldn't forgive myself. Oyashiro-sama apologized to me and told me to come back to Hinamizawa. And now, here in Hinamizawa, there's this Watanagashi, a ceremony to get rid of filth. This isn't just a coincidence. Hinamizawa is a place to wash away your filth. It forgives sins. It is a place of forgiveness. It's called a purification ceremony.
Ah, I've heard of those before.
Japanese culture is very strict about filth. You aren't allowed to remain in the spotlight if you accumulate too much. See, that's the reason why politicians and company presidents resign immediately once people find out about their dirty deeds. God, if only! Seriously? Holy shit. You must leave the spotlight if you're filthy. To put it in a bad way, the filth is basically pushed onto someone else, and they are held responsible for it. Sins and filth must be removed. That's why people push them onto someone else, and then try to get rid of the filth by sacrificing that person. But if that's the case, every time that filth is created, people will try to pass around responsibility for it. That's awfully hideous. It's almost like seeing demons in the human world. That's why they came up with the idea of letting the cotton absorb all the filth. By doing so, people can live without making someone else take on all the responsibility, sins, and filth. Putting everyone's sins onto someone and then killing that person makes that person a sacrifice. Who wants to be a sacrifice? That's why they desperately push their sins around. A purification ceremony is about replacing the human sacrifice with a non-human one. The purification ceremony dramatically changed Japanese culture. Before then, people always believed someone had to become a sacrifice. In other words, even with filth, everyone can live without blaming someone else. Filth can be forgiven by a method other than death. Only an existence higher than humans can forgive them. I was forgiven by Oyashiro-sama and came back to this place. To Watanagashi, the purification ceremony that exists here. Letting cotton absorb the filth and drifting it away. There's no need for a sacrifice. That's why I've been allowed to live. The filthy me has drifted away, so the me that remains is no longer Rena Ryugu. If I'm not Rena, then who am I? If I'm without filth, without all the icky things, who am I? A name vaguely appeared in my head. My new name, that only removes one of the letters from Rena, but I think it's a cute name. All the icky things are erased and forgiven with the removal of that one letter. So my name is no longer Rena. My name is... That's a very long name. Higurashi When They Cry Kai 7th expansion presents Welcome to Hinamizawa When They Cry. There's also a lot of eyes in there. Huh, that's weird. Well, there we go. We completed that fragment. Don't know why it's called Rena Ryugu. Thought her name was Higurashi When They Cry Kai. I won't do that joke again. Okay. So there we go. That was obviously their move. So we should be able to do this. New wind. If I'm not mistaken. 29. Yep. New wind. Looks like we're at the Sonozakis, I guess. Okay, I'll get going. Thank you!
Don't mention it. Come back anytime, okay?
Hi, I'm home. Been a while since I've done this voice too. Hey, Uncle Hiroshi. Long time no see. Hey, Mion-chan. Are you going home? I have to give my clients a ride. A ride? Ah, you're talking about your realtor business, huh? The Sonozaki family is one of the largest landowners here in the Hinamizawa area. However, since all the land is out here in the countryside, it just ends up sitting there. Recently, the land owned by the Sonozaki family was put on sale in lots. At the family meeting, some of our relatives opposed the idea by saying we shouldn't sell off land that was handed down from our ancestors. But Granny snapped and shut them right up. Some of the unused fields were made into vacant lots and released for public sale. Actually, I had some questions about it too. The Sonozaki family is very wealthy. We have plenty of land as well as money. So why did we have to sell it off? What's more surprising to me is that Granny was the one who came up with the idea. I would have thought she'd get furious if someone even mentioned something like that. Okay, if you're ever near the station, be sure to stop by. I'll treat you to a cup of barley tea. Sure, thank you very much. So, how is your business going? I'm surprised there are actually city folks who are interested. It must be those nouveau riche types that live in the big city, yet also want a house in the countryside. Well, I guess some people are curious. There's one family seeking to move here, not purchase a villa. He said he wants to build a studio, so he must be an artist of some sort. Ah, it's Keiichi's dad. Oh, that's great. Oh gosh, I better go now. Supposedly, he planned a tour to show them the lots, and he's the one driving the bus. It should be about time for the tour and explanations to end. He left in a hurry. Hey, can I ask you something? Why did you want to sell our land? You don't like newcomers.
I don't like newcomers, and I don't like big city people either. But the village needs them. It's like ventilating a room.
Is it good for the village to have new people move in?
This is a wonderful village, but the world is changing quickly. In the past, a very small change took 10 or even 20 years to happen. It was such a quiet and unchanging village.
Well, that's rural life. In this village, nothing is different from yesterday and today. It's too boring for me, though.
But you made a friend, didn't you? Rena Ryugu-chan moved here, and you got along great. I'm glad she changed her name, because that last one was a mouthful. You told me you were happy that you had a friend your age.
Yeah, making friends unexpectedly is fun.
I remember you saying that school is boring when Rena-chan is absent. Do you remember that?
Are you saying that's the good thing about letting new people move here?
No matter how cold it gets, you still have to ventilate your living space. Otherwise, it gets filled with bad air and you'll suffocate to death. You open the window even knowing the freezing cold air will come in. And that's when you get your favorite blankie and hot cocoa, like I do. Haha.
Letting outsiders move here is like ventilating the village?
Sure. It lets fresh air in and gets rid of bad air like us.
If I bring up the Houjou family, I know Granny will explode, so I won't. But I think what Granny is trying to say includes things like their ongoing isolation. Even now, when she remembers about what happened at that explanatory meeting, she gets really upset. But I guess even she feels that needs to come to an end. But of course, she can't just say she'll forgive them. Not when she's at this stubborn age. She can't lose face by openly saying they need to be forgiven. Honestly, I think she's behaving like a little schoolgirl who actually likes a person but treats them rudely when they're around. Oryou's a tsundere, I guess. Maybe people really do go back to being children when they get old enough. I'm not just talking about Granny. The same can be said about all the old people in the village. No, maybe I should say the evil around here. That must be what she meant by bad air. There's no use circulating the air in a closed room. Unless you open the windows and let fresh air in, the air in the room won't be purified. We don't know if there's actually going to be people moving here. But don't you think you're expecting too much from whoever does?
Just Rena-chan moving here changed you, Mion. Whoever moves here will change this village. If possible, I hope some young and energetic people who have the charisma to lead will appear.
Damn, you're prophetic right now.
They need to be the ones to put us old people away into heaven.
Are you thinking about Gramps?
Damn you! Nobody's thinking about him! Here, have the housekeeper put away the tea set on the veranda.
Oh wow, I wonder what this fragment is. They couldn't have spelled it out any easier. Okay, I will.
Mion? The day Satoshi Houjou disappeared.
Oh wow, we're already after this. Oh right, because fucking Keiichi's about to move in.
The day Satoshi Houjou disappeared, you came to me, huh?
Yeah, I guess I did.
That is what woke me up. This problem with the Houjou family, we can't just let time take care of it. We have to take care of it ourselves as soon as possible.
But you can't do it yourself, so you're going to have an outsider take care of it.
That's the best I can do.
No matter how bad your hand is, the next card can change the flow of the game. So maybe it's a good idea to draw cards from the stack.
Your generation will be a new wind. Let that new wind come from the outside. And you'll be the wind from the inside. When both winds create a gale, the gusts will blow away the stale air from the village.
That's the epitome of leaving your problems to others. You're the one who started the fire, and you're trying to have your grandchild take care of it?
Oh, don't say that. As the new leader of the Sonozaki family, bring the new wind into the village.
If you're saying that's my job as your successor...
Please, Mion. I'm too old. The only thing I can do now is be despised by people.
The wind chime sounded quietly. Maybe that's a sign to let us know a cool breeze is on the way. Alright. Well, that was obviously tea set on the veranda. They didn't even bother trying to change the wording to make it, like, less clear. Alright, so that one was... yeah, right there. Tea set on the veranda being put away. Like, if that's not the tea set, then fucking, like... holy shit, you should have at least changed the object. Like, just be like, hey, clean up the silverware. Or whatever. So... now, we still can't do that, and we still can't do that. We still can't do that or that, but we should be able to do this. Unless there's something else relating to Rena, which we could do. We don't have the 4th year's curse, unless they said Satoshi disappeared. But I really doubt that that would be that. Alright, I'm just gonna assume that number 30 is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Please! Yeah! Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Takano-san always comes along with me whenever I go to take pictures on a stroll. Oh, this is gonna be Tomatake's promise. She might have discovered the joy of cameras, and I'm happy to gain a friend who shares the same hobby. However, there's actually something else she's much more interested in. That would be the history of Hinamizawa. She frequently visited libraries and local archives to read through various documents and books. And when it comes to Hinamizawa, she's gained quite extensive knowledge of the local history. When she's in a good mood, she tells me about things like how Hinamizawa used to be called Onigafuchi Village, and how the villagers there used to perform various cruel ceremonies based around the worship of Oyashiro-sama. It seems she loved tales of violence, and that actually gave her a mysterious charm. On the other hand, I don't do well with grotesque things, so I can hardly say anything in response. The stories of cruel ceremonies that she gets excited about, I don't really get them all that well. However, with the way her eyes light up when she talks, I don't mind spending time with her even if I have to hear about cruel things. You sure like looking into that stuff, don't you? Sure, it's fun! It's thrilling to unravel a dark past that's been sealed away. Don't you think so? Takano-san smiled in a way that almost made it sound like a dark past is something fun. But of course, it isn't. The dark history of Hinamizawa that she loves is something cruel and atrocious, like the witch hunts in the Middle Ages. Besides, they help me in researching Hinamizawa syndrome. You don't have to always look through microscopes to research things. Sometimes, the traditions of this village that have spent so long with the parasite can teach us things that are far more valuable. That's true. Boy, you sure are passionate about this. That's because research gives my life meaning. To step into the unknown and to uncover a secret that nobody else knows. Don't you think that's wonderful? It tickles my intellectual curiosity. That's probably the greatest entertainment available to humans, who can feel joy just from thinking. The first person to work on this, Dr. Takano, must have discovered something fascinating enough to make him devote his entire life to the researching of the syndrome too. I think I'm probably the only one who could understand his feelings. I suppose it would be too difficult for you, Jiro-san, since you're not a researcher. She always seems so enthusiastic every time she talks about the late Dr. Takano, an independent researcher who was the first person to discover the existence of the syndrome. There has to be something more there than just her admiration as a researcher. Come to think of it, Dr. Takano's full name was Hifumi Takano. Takano-san's full name is Mio Takano, that's why this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Not only are their last names pronounced the same, but their first names follow a similar pattern. They must be connected somehow. I don't know anything about Takano-san's personal history, but there's a good chance that her name is an alias. So it's very possible she chose a name to reflect the researcher she admires. I see. So is that why you chose that name? What? Oh, well, the name of the researcher you look up to is Hifumi Takano, right? And your name is Mio. In Japanese, it's like you're counting upwards. You're continuing the research he wasn't able to complete. So I thought maybe that's why you have that name. Who told you that? Huh? No. I just thought of that now. I didn't hear it from anybody. You're correct. I'm surprised you figured it out since you're so dense. I know you admire Dr. Takano, and sometimes you've spoken as if you were his daughter or granddaughter who inherited his research legitimately. That's why I said that. Even authors like Ranpo Edogawa used their pen names as homages towards authors they admired as well. So I thought maybe the name you use is like your pen name, you know? No, that's not so. Mio Takano is my real name. You write my family name differently, though. Huh? Then it really is the exact same name as Dr. Takano? That's even more of a surprise. And Mio is your real name, too. Mio Takano continuing Hifumi Takano's life's work. What a faithful coincidence. You're overstating it, Jiro-san. This isn't fate of any kind. He's my grandfather. What? This is news to me. I heard Takano-san discovered documents about the Hinamizawa syndrome left by Dr. Takano after his death, and decided to continue his research. I've never heard of them being related before. Oh, God. I right-clicked off my screen. Someone told me it'd leave a bad impression if I asked for money to continue my grandfather's research. That people may think I'm trying to pull funds for a family matter. That's why I changed one of the characters in my last name. You changed your whole name. You're lying to this man. So other than Uncle Koizumi, you're the first person I've told this to. I see. I didn't know. So that's why you're so passionate about all this. I understand very clearly now. She really did inherit the work her grandfather was unable to complete. My grandfather researched Hinamizawa syndrome not only from a medical point of view, but through old documents and literature as well. Looking through the old stories of a village that has been living with the syndrome for hundreds of years can be far more valuable than looking through microscopes that magnify things hundreds of times. My grandfather taught me that. I see. I'm sure your grandfather is happy that you're finishing the work he couldn't. I bet he's really proud of you. I hope so. I said something Takano-san would normally tease me about, but she didn't. She nodded and smiled. There's no mistake. She is indeed the granddaughter of Dr. Takano. My grandfather is Hifumi, which means 1, 2, 3. And I'm Mio, which means 3, 4. Following after my grandfather, we have only counted the 3 together, and counted the 4 after my grandfather. We must reach the 5 that neither me nor my grandfather has seen yet. That is my duty and the reason I was born. So that's why your name is Mio, huh? I think that's a beautiful name. Thank you, but please keep the granddaughter issue to yourself. My clients don't even know, and I don't want any unnecessary problems from them finding out about it. Sure, okay. This is a secret between you and me, huh? Although it's only a small secret, it feels good to think that I'm the only one who knows about it. I've only counted to 3. I haven't even reached 4 yet. The path before me is long and rough, but I will do it. I will expose the secrets of Hinamizawa syndrome. I'll support you. That's my job in the first place, isn't it? Jeez, you'd sound pretty cool if you didn't tack on things like that. You only needed to say you'll support me, you know. Okay, I'll support you. It's too late. You're not cool if you can't get it right the first time. We laughed cheerfully together. And after we finished laughing, she became serious again. Spoke as if to drive the point home. So remember, Jiro-san, don't tell anybody that I'm his granddaughter, okay? Okay, I promise. It's not a bad thing, but I don't want the clients to cut our funding because of that. I don't think they will. Besides, I won't tell a soul. Are you sure? Are you really, really sure? This research is the entire purpose of my life. My mission is to complete my grandfather's work. To prove that his trampled research is actually something amazing that will shock the world, and to make everyone praise my grandfather who is perishing away under the earth. eventually having him ascend as a god. That's the meaning and purpose of my life, Jiro-san. If you say something that creates problems for my research, don't worry. I'll forget everything you told me here. Really, I mean it. I won't say anything. I promise. I won't say anything. Are you sure, Jiro-san? I sensed something frightening within her for a moment. Afraid that she would end up possessed by it, I swore to keep the promise. Her intellectual curiosity as a researcher and her conviction to complete her grandfather's work are what stirs her passion for researching Hinamizawa syndrome. I think there's one more reason, but it's far too deep, and it's within a wound in her heart that someone like me should never touch. But earlier, she said, if you create problems for my research. I wonder what she wanted to say after that. I can't help thinking she wanted to say something terrifyingly merciless. I kept my promise with her, and we never talked about the issue again after that. Okay, well that was very obviously Tomatake's promise. Also possibly Takano's revenge, but I feel like there's been several fucking times that we might have had that one. Oh, the background changed again. It keeps on changing. Okay, so how... We still don't have the death of Satsuko Hojo's aunt, obviously, or the bat to beat her to death. Koizumi hasn't died. I don't think this medicine's even been mentioned. Like, I'm 95% sure. C117. We have the results on C103H and H107. But yeah, they haven't mentioned this other medicine, so we definitely aren't at that yet. We should be able to do this one next time. A roll of a 1. That makes me think Koizumi dies in this one, maybe? We can't do that one yet. Or that one. 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 And obviously not any of those. Okay, so yeah, it seems like the next one we'll have to do is a roll of a 1. Which we will do next episode. Because we're just over an hour now. So then, I guess that's going to be it for this episode, guys. We're still making progress through the fragments. Sure, I completed only 4, so... Again, at this rate, we'll be done in, well, there's 20 more, so 5 more episodes. But, we'll see. Either way, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button. And if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!